thank you for attending this afternoon. Today we will present Esma with Berenice and Anna. Thank you, Nicolas, to come and as a student of our school. So Berenice and Anna, I let you to introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. So I'm Anna. We are in Lyon campus, and I will be with
Berenice.
And we do all the interview with future Esma students. And today we are going to introduce our CG animation program and some projects and works for our students. So yes, Nicolas, if you want to say something.
Yes, hello, I'm Nicolas Azevedo Ferrate. I'm a fifth year Esma student here in Lyon. I'm also from Guatemala, and I've been doing all 5 years at Esma here, from the prepa all the way to the last year. And well, so far so good, to be honest.
Perfect. So let's start, if you want, with the PowerPoint. Okay. So our CG animation program takes 5 years to complete. Okay. The first year is a preparatory year. So Nicolas, he followed the prepa also, so he will be able to speak about his experience. The preparatory year is the first year. And after this year, we are going to start the second and the third year, where the students, they will become generalists in 3D. And during the fourth and the fifth year, they will really master their specialization, and they will really focus in their specializations. Okay. So, yes.
So to explain you the key features about our school. So there is 3 international campus in Bordeaux, in Montpellier, in southern France, and in Lyon. To tell you more about our key points, so there is 90% employment integration after 6 months after the formation. During the last contest of the rookies, we won the first prize in excellence in 3D animation and production. And we propose 8 weeks of internship in France or abroad during the course. And all the courses will be in face-to-face. There will be no online courses.
Okay, so about the prepa. So there is students that we will apply straight to the second year, but the big part of students, they apply to the preparatory year. This preparatory year serves to teach students to observe reality and understand the shadows, the lighting, and the volume and all of that. So we will have volume, perspective, storytelling classes, some photography classes also. And they will also have French classes because it's a 100% international group. So they will have 4 hours every week of French classes. There is also a trip to one of the biggest cities of France to make them discover the new country where they are going to live. This year, for example, they are going to go to Paris. And at the end of the year, they will be ready to prepare an artistic portfolio, and they will have to present this portfolio in front of a jury. This jury will be teachers for the second year because they have to be sure that they have the level to go straight to the second year. Okay, so they will check their anatomy, perspective, color, drawing level. Okay, and yes. So this is some examples of the works that we do during the prepa. So we have a lot of color drawings, like for example this one. This one is an acrylic, another acrylic, watercolor. This is a perspective drawing. Anatomy. And what is good is that every time they have the technical side of the project, but also the creativity side. So at the end of the program, the preparatory year, we have a lot of books from different students, and every of them, they look super different, even if they did the same exercise, you can say. Observational drawing. And
I don't know if Nicolas wants to tell us more about his experience during the preparatory year.
Yes.
Yes, sure. Well, to add to what Anna just said, the preparatory year tends to be very, very traditional, and you have a lot of things that kind of become the base of what you're going to do in 3D. So what I mean by that is that you're going to take color classes, perspective classes, a little bit of design, and then also like technical drawing. But you would think, okay, what does that help me in 3D? Well, it's very important because without that base, you won't have the eye to then prepare stuff the right way in 3D. So when you take the color class, you're going to develop a certain eye and a certain sensibility to the composition of colors, the use of colors, and whatever you want to use afterwards in 3D. Same for perspective. I mean, when you see something that's not correct, you're gonna notice, and you won't have it if you don't go through this preparatory class where you learn about shadows, about perspective, about volumes, about how to construct things properly. That will then, help you out with 3D and have the right vision for the things you're gonna do after. And that really helped me out, to be honest, when I first came into the school, because I was self-taught, and most of what I taught myself was very basic. And when I came to Esma, I really explored my full potential with that. And then after that, I was very grateful for what I learned in prepa, because in first year you're gonna use it a lot, and you're gonna come back to all the basics that you learned the year before.
Thank you,
Thank you, Nicolas. So now to explain you what we do during the second year. So during this year, you will start to learn all the basic in 3D animation. You still have drawing class, but you start to learn animation. So for that, you will have a lot of subjects about that, like lighting, 3D modeling, image analysis, 3D animation. You will also have Photoshop class to learn all the image processing. You still have French class because you need to reinforce all the foundation in French and to be able to speak French easily in the country. And at the end of the year, you have another project. So for this project, we asked to produce 2 still shots of a same room in illustration and in 3D. So it's a mix of drawing and 3D exercise. I will show you an example later. So to show you some, it's not the good diapositive.
We went too far.
So yes. So to show you some example of the project during the second year. So here it's a project in 3D animation. So at the end of the year, you will start to animate a ball. Then, like in this exercise, you animate only the legs of an object. And at the end of the year, you will be able to animate an entire character in animation. Here, on the left part, you have a 3D modeling project. So the student needs to reproduce a breakfast. On the right, it's a lighting project. The students also do all the 3D modeling for this project. And here, it's an example of the project at the end of the year with, on the left, the illustrate part, and on the right, the lighting and modelization. So, Nicolas, I don't know if you tell us more about your experience during your second year.
Yeah, so the second year was a big jump from what we did the year beforehand, because not only was it our first time doing 3D properly, but we put our skills to the test. So at the beginning, you're gonna feel like an outcast, probably, because, I mean, unless you have done 3D before. But what I mean is that you don't have to know 3D before getting into this year, because that's what first year is all about, is learning the basics of 3D, whether that's the softwares or the tools or the reflexes that you have to develop in order to be a good 3D artist, but also all of the things that you can do with it, right? Because sometimes when you see a movie, you start to ask yourself, oh, how did they do that? And then first year serves a lot to know how to do this, right? And when I said before that the basics of the first year help a lot in this year, you can clearly see it in the image you have right before your eyes, because to the left you'll have something that you produced with all the basics that you learned in the prépa, whether that's color, perspective, light, or the construction of volumes, etc. And then to the right, you'll see all of that product being made in 3D, which is something that, you can feel very proud of at the end, because personally, I didn't know how to do anything at the beginning of the year. I didn't even know how to do a cube. And by the end of it, they ask you to do a room full of objects. And I can confidently tell you that you'll get there, and that's the most impressive part of it, I think, which is very fulfilling.
Thank you, Nicolas.
So during the third year, we continue discovering other softwares, and we continue discovering other techniques in 3D. So we continue doing the artistic side of the project, so all the drawing and storyboard and script classes. But we mix all of this with other programs, so we start doing rigging and visual effects, okay? And we continue discovering animation and lighting, but doing things more ambitious, we can say. The students, they continue having 2 hours of French and 2 hours of English every week, because it's always better to continue improving the level in English and in French for the future, professional future. Okay, so we are going to continue reinforcing the discovering things in 3D and reinforcing the level in 3D. So here are some examples of the third year. So we have this compositing project where they mix matte painting and traditional drawing. Okay. We also have this animation in 3D, where you can see is a higher level than during the second year. And we also have a big project called Insect, where they have to do from the beginning to the end an insect, okay? So they have to do the modeling, and then they have to do all the lighting and the color, okay? So the objective is to do something that looks really like a picture taken by a computer, camera, okay? We also have, no, that's the last project that we would like to show you. But yes, the level at the end of the third year is really, really high, and the students, they are able to do very realistic things.
Yes.
Nicolas, maybe you want to tell us more about your experience?
Indeed. So as to build off of what Anna said, if you go back to the compositing slide, you see that there's a lot of stuff from previous years, but also from last year, which would be the second year, where you start to use a lot of the tools, whether that's Photoshop, whether that's painting and everything else, to build something that looks 3D but isn't. And that's where you go deeper in the world of 3D, because even though, yes, you do models, you animate, you do what is called shading and lighting, you also do a lot of cheating, let's say. And that's what second year teaches us, to be creative with whatever you're doing, whether that's compositing or painting, etc. And then animation really takes a big step, and that's amazing, because you start to do more interesting projects that really dig your creativity and let you express yourself a little bit more, let's say. And then lastly, the lighting project gets really complex, but also it challenges you to be a better 3D artist and to push your limits on whatever you've learned so far. And by this time, I'd say, like, generally speaking, everyone kind of has their own direction in what they want to do within the 3D world, whether that's compositing, animation, rigging, lighting, etc. But what I'm trying to say with all of this is that you will be building your identity as an artist, because you've gone deeper down the pipeline of 3D, but also within your preferences on what you want to do, what you're best at, what you want to work on in a 3D studio, and also build a little bit of your portfolio. But this time I think people are really comfortable with 3D in general.
Thank you, Nicolas.
You're welcome.
So now for the fourth year, it's a year of specialty, because the students need to choose a specialty during the fourth year. So they can choose between rigging, lighting or rendering, special effect, compositing or 3D animation. So they can choose 2 of this specialty, except 3D animation, because there is a lot of course in this specialty, so they can only choose 3D animation, but 2 of the other one. So the subject depends of your specialty, but you can choose some other classes like storyboard or script, concept art, 3D sculpting, facial rigging, or character visual effects. And at the end of the year, you have another big project. So it's the first 3D project in group. So a group of students needs to create 30 seconds of a 3D animated video. So let me show you an example to tell you more about it.
Box is sticky with your big shit. Don't you know it's time to work? We already work. Oops, honey, oops. Crunch, crunch. Stealing sugar for diabetes. Honey, oops.
So it's an entire project made by a student. So they do the script, the storyboard, all the concept art, and all the 3D production to create it. But Nicolas, you do this project last year. Maybe you can show us your experience.
Yes, so the main focus of this project is to put all of the skills that you've acquired to the test, but also teach you something that you maybe had a taste of before, which is teamwork. So no film ever in 3D was done by just one person, and that is very important to know because everyone works as a team. And what this project focuses on is putting all of our efforts together to create a 30-second animated video that works. You know, it doesn't have to be amazing because that's not the point. You know, with the constraint of time you have is you won't be able to put out something amazing, but you will be able to put something good and then learn how to work with other people, how to communicate better, how to put all your skills on top of each other to produce at the end what is probably your most challenging project yet, because the fact that it's a really short animated video means that you have to do all the pre-production work, the production and the post-production, and also be autonomous, right? Because even though the teachers will be there to accompany you and tell you, oh, this works, this doesn't, you better do this, you better do that, etc. At the end of the day, it's your short film, so you're free to do what you want. And I think that really brings out the best of what we've learned so far, because you get to do whatever you want. Like me personally, I'm Guatemalan, and I remember growing up watching my mom watch telenovelas, and we decided to do a telenovela themed animated video with my group. So it was great because at the end of the day, like, it was my group's project, and it went really well. It was a great experience, and I think it was really enriching for all of us. And then also the fact that you get to specialize in the field that you most want to work on, it's really rewarding, because instead of taking classes that are important but maybe are not your main focus, now you can focus purely on whatever you want to do after, when you start to get a job.
Thank you, Nico.
Thank you, Nicolas.
You're welcome.
And then we reached the 5th year, so it's the very big year of Esma. So Nicolas, he's doing the 5th year, and during this year, students, they already know how to work in group, and they have to work in a production of a movie, a short film in 3D. So it's a 6-7 minutes movie. They start the pre-production during the last month of the 4th year. So they start writing the script, creating the storyboard, the color script, and everything. And then during the 5th year, they do all the production. They finish the pre-production and they do all the production. It's a very big year. They don't have a lot of holidays. They work really like professionals already. And they work in an open space here in the school with their groups to do this big production. At the end of the 5th year, we go to Montpellier campus. Montpellier is the biggest campus in France, and we do a production of all the short movies of Esma, and we invite more than 30 studios to come and see the quality of our students' projects. So after this day, there is like a very important day for Esma student. There is like a job meeting where they can already share the portfolio with studios, do some interviews, and yes, it's a very important meeting and important day for Esma students. We are going to show you one of the teasers of one of our movies, a last year movie. And this movie won the first prize last year. So we are going to show you. There is some questions about the application, so we are going to speak about it later. We are going to finish about the program, and we are going to go straight to the questions and the application process. Okay, so Nicolas, I don't know if you want to say something about your big production of the movie of this year. You want to
Yeah,
share
so so this is it. I mean, this is what all the years have been built building upon. So I'd say that 5th year kind of feels like something that you naturally gravitate towards because in spite of yes not doing something like that all throughout the first 4 years, you kind of feel like that's the next step, right? Because you've been doing everything in 3D, you've touched all of the departments, and then by the end of 4th year you feel like you can start working on it, right? So it's very professionalizing in that, as Anna said, you kind of feel like you're working a job. I mean, personally, I feel like having a schedule from 9 to 6 in the afternoon does feel like a job with just an hour's break in lunch. But it's great because it gets you into a rhythm, right? It makes you feel like you're in a studio and that you actually feel the life of a studio, which, like I said, is very professionalizing because you start to get that serious rhythm before getting into the professional field. You don't have classes anymore, like any of them, which is great because you can focus all your attention towards doing the best film you can. And it's also in a group. So, like I said, on the 4th year, you will have an experience during the 4th year that's going to help you have like teamwork skills and all of that stuff. But then in 5th year is going to be where you really have to push it, right? Where you have to work in conjunction with everyone so that you make the best film that you possibly can, but also that you make a great teammate. Because if you want to have a good movie, then you have to have a good base, and that good base comes from being, well, a good teammate in general. And it's also very eye-opening because you get to see a lot of the processes that really go behind making a movie. Because in 4th year is very basic, but then in 5th year you explore all of the possibilities that you can, because you're really free to do whatever you want. You can do an arcane style, you can do a Pixar style, you can do even a Wallace and Gromit stop motion style. It's really up to you to choose whatever you want to do. And it's enriching in all of that because if you want to do something in particular, you have to research for it and you have to do it yourself. But then that's something that you learn and something that you take with you afterwards, right? And I'd say in general it's been great because I feel like I've been getting the hang of whatever, well, all of my studies and skills that I've been doing so far, and feeling like I'm actually putting them to use and that I could work in a studio afterwards. I know that it's going to be very different, right? Because school is not the same as a studio, but it still feels like you're getting that first glance of an experience before getting into into hopefully a great studio.
Perfect. So now, as we said, we prepared students to work really in all the different steps on a movie production in 3D, from the script to the compositing, 3D animation, character design, all of them. So we are going to spend a little bit more about these different tasks because 3D is not very clear for everyone. So we are going to focus more in every of them. Okay. So
to start the presentation of some of job possible after Esma. So first of all, we can become a rigger. So the rigger is a highly technical job. It's less artistic. So the riggers create all the skeleton of bodies of a 3D character, but it can also be a core, a camera, or just the face. So to create all the skeleton for the animator needs this skeleton to animate the character.
So yes, for example, Nicolas, he picked 3D animation for like a specialization, okay? So he's doing 3D animation and he's doing another specialization. I don't know what you're doing with 3D animation, Nicolas?
Right now?
Yes, your module. We call it module here in France, module.
Yeah, so I
What did
think
you
it,
do last year?
yeah,
Like module?
yes. So we had 8 hours a week, which was a lot, but it was great because you could spend a lot of time in your animation because different to many other departments in the pipeline, animation is something that you really have to train for and like, repeat and repeat and repeat. I think of it as like being, an athlete or something because the more you train, the better you get, right? So what we did last year was mostly that, train the eye, but also do a lot of very expressive projects, right? Because when you see a character in a movie, uh, obviously there's dialogue, but two things. What if there's not? And the most important, I think, is the physical language, right? So you really have to be able to convey the idea of what the character is feeling through the animation. So say my character is feeling sad, he's gonna be like this, maybe a little bit down and stuff. Or if he's happy, he's gonna be all up and going, right? So that's mostly what we focused on last year, which would be expressions and doing the lip sync, which is syncing the character's lips to whatever is being said and the dialogue. And by the end of it, we also tried a walk cycle, which is making a character walk, but focusing on quadrupeds, which would be cows or dogs and animals that move, but don't move the same way as a human does.
Okay.
Thank you for this explication. So you can also become a special effect artist. So it combines artistic and technical skills. So the special effects artist creates the explosion, the fire, the smoke. It can be on a movie or an animation movie.
And also the lighting artist. So we already spoke about lighting. It will be all the lights and the textures, okay? And the main objective is to make things look realist if they want a realist style of more stylist. It depends of the style of the movie, okay? But the objective is to reach to have all the texturing and the lighting, different lightings and all of that, okay? We also have
the compositor. So the compositor, it's at the end of the production of on a 3D animation movie. So he put together all the elements of image or shot or special effect to compose one single shot and to assemble all the final movie. So he works on how to retouch an image, how to optimize the artistic quality at the end of the production of the movie.
Okay, so that was more or less like everything that we proposed during the 5 years. And now we are going to speak about applications because you are asking a lot of questions on the chat. So if you want to apply for the school, okay, we are going to ask you for some conditions. One of them is a high school diploma. So if you are right now doing the 12th grade, if you are doing high school right now, you are finished high school, you can already apply, and you can do an interview, and we will tell you if you are accepted or not. And once you will have your diploma, your high school diploma, we will ask you a document that is called enigmatic, and this document is going to compare your high school diploma to French education diploma, because we want to be sure that if you are coming, for example, from Turkey, from China, that your high school diploma is the same diploma as French education diploma. Okay, so we will ask you for that document. Once you are, you will have to send maybe a receipt of the enigmatic right now during the application. And once you will receive the diploma, you will send us that document. Okay. We will also ask you for a B2 in English, because all the classes are 100% in English, from the preparatory year to the 5th year. So yes, you will have to have a B2 in English. And if you want to apply straight to the 2nd year without doing the preparatory year, that is possible. But it's true that 19% of students, they do the preparatory year, but there is always some students that have already a good level, a very, very good level in drawing, and they go straight to the 2nd year. So you can also do that, but I will ask you for a portfolio. Okay.
So now, how to apply to Esma? So our application is online. You need to go on our website. You have the link on the presentation. So to apply, we need to create a file with some documents. For that, we ask for the proof of identity, the most recent school transcripts, if you have it, the most recent diploma obtained, if applicable too. We ask also for a school certificate, a picture, and your enigmatic receipt if you still have your high school diploma. Once your file is complete, you will be invited to an online interview. And after your online interview, you will receive the result 48 hours later, or sooner normally. So for this interview, it's a motivational interview. It's just to know more about your project, your motivation. And if you apply directly for the 2nd year, we ask you for a portfolio during this interview.
Okay, so now you will probably ask why you will choose Esma and not other 3D animation school. And I can say that Esma school, we have a very, very big international community. Like, for example, Nicolas, he's from Guatemala, but we have students from all over the world, so from China, Russia, United States, really India, a lot of Indian people. So I think that our movies, they're really, really nice at the end, because we mix people from all over the world, from different cultures, different point of views. So that makes movie really, really difference to other movies, to other styles. Also, during all the 5 years in Esma, we invite a lot of students that come to the school to do workshops and little presentation about what they do during a production of a movie. And like that, they can already start working on building a network. So students, they will need to meet people in this network. So from the very first year, they will be able to meet professionals, like our teachers. For example, the teachers, they are really professional. They are not really teachers. They are people who have worked in the studios, that they have their own companies. So they will be the first people that they know in this 3D work. And also, we are a school that exists from 30 years in the past. So we have prestige already. We are the best 3D animation school in France. But maybe Nicolas, he wants to share the reasons why he chose Esma when he came to Lyon 5 years ago.
Yeah, so one of the main reasons that I chose Esma is because I was really lost when I was looking for a 3D school to choose. And then some ex-student from my high school told me, you should take a look at the rankings, at a ranking called the Rookies, which usually ranks the top schools in the world. And Esma was number 2 or number 3 in the whole world. So I was like, oh my God. I mean, they're really good, and they happen to be your friends because I was looking to study in France. So I chose Esma because my first approach was them being highly ranked, and then when I looked at what they did, the portfolio, and what Esma is about, I really liked it because of the movies they produced. They produce a lot of movies year and year again, whether it's in Montpellier, Lyon, Bordeaux, or the different antennas that they have throughout France. They produce quite high quality films. They produce really interesting films, I'd say, because they don't compromise artistic value for production, or well, I mean, they don't make money out of the movies, right? But it's a student film, so you get to be really free with what you do. And then also the fact that they were very welcoming to foreigners, because I didn't feel the same response or connection that I felt with Esma. I mean, in other schools, because most of the time they were making you try to learn French and everything. And I'm not saying that's bad, but what I'm saying is that they make you feel really wanted for, right? And so that made me feel comfortable because I said, okay, this is a place where I can really be myself and also help my studies and my career. And it's the best school in France, so why not?
Thank you, Nico.
You're welcome.
So this is some example of our alumni, so our past students. So some of them works in special effects, like Sylvain in Game of Thrones, or Julien and Deborah on The Crown and The Lord of the Ring. Some of them works in animation, like Gregory for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So this is some example of our students. We are very proud of their career in 3D animation.
If I may add to this, something else that's really, I think, impressive and great from ESMA is that not only do they have students who worked on the industry, but sometimes they come back to the school and we get to meet them. So I think that's really reassuring when it comes to getting a first-hand experience with someone or getting to know people who work in the industry. And better yet, if it's somebody who did ESMA and can tell I remember when I was at your place, and now with everything that I learned, I'm here. Like Lucy Martineto, we met her 2 years ago, and not only was she really nice, but I think she was a really good presence to come to the school to talk about what the works that she's done in the industry.
Thank you, Nico. And here are some examples about all the studios that hire ESMA students to work with, if you want to take a look. But we really recommend you to go to our YouTube channel, ESMA. Like that, you can really see the results, like the final ending of this 5 years of programs. And also to take a look of the rookies. Like that, you can really check all the projects of our students from the first year to the last year of the program. And also a very important thing to know when you are from another country, you come all alone and you don't have a place to live, or you don't speak the language of this country. In every campus in ESMA, we propose a dormitory. So in every campus, we have the studios if you want to live there. We are going to give you more information about lifestyle in France, about the dormitory, about how to get a visa in other meetings. If you want to join us in the future meetings, we will send you the link by email. But yes, we propose a dormitory in our school if you want to live in the campus. And also if you want to prepare your French to be ready when you reach France, we also propose some classes, KLIF group, Keep Learning French. So yes, if you want more information, we can send you by email. And yes, that's more or less everything. I don't know if you have more questions. We are going to check the questions.
Someone asked if it's possible to speak with an English student. So yeah, it's completely possible. You can contact us. Here you have our email address. So don't hesitate to send us an email if you want to be in contact with one of our international students. We can give you an email of one of our students, and he will be available to answer all your questions.
Yes. So for example, Nicolas, he's one of their, we have more than, in Lyon campus, we have more than 150 international students. And a lot of them, they are like ambassadors. So they are free to speak with people that they are coming from their countries to speak about the lifestyle in France, about how difficult it was to come to France and everything. So I think maybe it's better to speak with someone that comes from your country. We have another question.
Yes, about the portfolio requirements. So the portfolio, we ask about your drawings level. If you do some 3D models, like in Blender, it's possible to add it. But the requirement is the majority in drawing levels. We ask for a big color levels with painting, pencil, watercolor. We ask also for perspective.
Yes, perspective, anatomy, and color. It will
Yes.
be the most important, because if you go to the second year and you don't have a very good drawing in level of drawing, and at the same time you discover all of these different softwares, it's going to be very, very hard. So just prepare a book with all the drawings you want to show us, and that proves that you already know how to draw volumes and perspective. But if you never touch a computer, that is not a problem, because there is students that they never try work on a computer. I don't know if you, Nicolas, you already try to work in softwares before you came to Esma?
Never. And I was really scared before we got into second year because I thought, oh my God, what's gonna happen? Am I gonna fail ESMA? But no, that doesn't happen.
As you can see, he survived, and he's very, very good student.
Thank
So
you.
yes, don't be afraid. If you apply to the prepa, it's a really motivational interview. So we are going to see if you are a good student, if you know our school, if you are motivated, if you are ready to follow this program. But if you want to come to the second year, we will ask you a better portfolio.
So I saw another question. So there is no deadline for application.
Yes.
We already start our application, so you can apply directly now. It's open, and we will finish when we will roll.
Like the international people, I recommend to apply as soon as possible anyway, because visa procedure takes a lot of time, and also to look for an apartment in France take a lot of time. So maybe it's better to apply as soon as possible, like that you know if you're accepted or not, and you can already prepare your travel to France and your visa procedure and everything. So yes, please do it before the end of February, okay? Like that you are sure that you will have a vacancy.
So we have another question. So the future information session will be planned for the 28th January, and the subject will be about studies in France, and to present all different campuses in France. So we will send you an email with all the details to be here for the next session.
Yes. We will invite another student like Nicolas, and they will be able to share their experience. Another question. What is the deadline for portfolio submissions? It's the same thing that for applications. So you go to the website, you apply, you fill all your documents, and then once your file is complete, I will call you or I will send you an email to tell you, to ask you which day do you want to do the meeting. And one day before the meeting, you will have to send me your portfolio. So for example, if you apply today, Probably next week we will fix an appointment, and you will have to send me the book the day before. Like that, we will be able to do a meeting with your book, and you will be able to show me your art and your styles and your inspirations and all of that. We wait for other questions.
There is another question about accommodation. So, like we said, all our dormitory, all our campuses, there is a dormitory very close to the school. It's Artemisia.
Nicolas, he lives in Artemisia dormitory. If he wants to share something also.
I used to, but I feel like it's probably one of the best decisions coming into Esma because, first of all, it's very accessible. You don't have to, since they know there's international students coming in, they make the process much less tedious and easier for you. And then also the fact that you live around school makes you start to have more of a social life, right? Because if you live very far away or in a place where you don't see that many people, you might isolate yourself a little bit more. So I think the advantage of living in the residency is the easy access to school, the fact that you have a very good place to live. And also, I don't know, maybe you start making friends. You can see each other in the halls. You can have meals together and stuff. So I'd say it's really worth it to go for accommodation in Artemisia because of the proximity with the school, whether that's the social part or the main building itself.
Perfect. And there is the last question about the result of the interview. Normally, the interview, we will tell you if you are accepted either the same day, either the next day, okay? We are not going to make you wait a lot. So we are nice. It's really a nice conversation to meet future students. And we will tell you if you are accepted or not the same day or the next day, okay?
And yes, it's during this meeting that we will be able to say if you are able or not to pass the preparatory year.
Yes. If we see that your drawing level is a little bit weak, we will propose you to do a preparatory year. Okay. So I don't know if you have something to say, Nicolas, Charlene.
Nicolas, one question: what are your plans after your graduation? Do you have any idea where you want to go, or do you stay in France?
That's a big question. So I always answered this question to my dad by saying that life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. So I think for the time being, I don't know exactly what I want to do, but I do know that I want to stay in France, that I want to work in a big 3D studio, whether that's the big ones that you see in movies and stuff, or a smaller one, but that can still make great movie productions. But my main focus when it comes to 3D and movies is to make something good. So I think I'd say my objective now is to get a job in the industry, in animation more specifically, and to stay working in France. I think the next step would be to go to Paris because you find most big studios over there. So yes.
Okay, thank you.
There is another question. Yes, I'm sorry, Charlene.
No, go ahead.
So there is another question about payment. Once you do the interview and you are accepted, you will have to pay the deposit fee.
Yeah.
Is 700 euros. And you have 15 days, maybe 20 days to pay that, to save your seat. And then the scholar fee, you will have to pay it in August, the first payment. And you are able to do 4 different installments. So you can pay it in 4 different times. The first one will be August, and the next one will be November.
And Shian, I received your email about your question about that. Let me answer you after this meeting. Okay.
So,
Sorry, Nicola, what is your best advice for the students who wants to apply to Esma?
I'd say be yourself. That's very broad, but what I mean is that when you apply, when you put your portfolio in perspective with Esma and everything, they're not looking for like the best objective person ever, or they're not looking to see if your perspective is absolutely precise and that everything's perfect. They're looking for an artist. They're looking for someone that has their own world, their own imagination, and something to bring to the table, right? Because if everybody did the things the same way but perfect, that'd be a little bit boring, right? You wouldn't have variation, you wouldn't have stuff that makes it interesting. So I say more than anything, put forward whatever you want to do and whatever you feel like it's you, right? I know it's very personal, but at the same time, what isn't, and especially in an artistic domain like 3D, I'd say, present yourself, present the works that you want to present, because not only is it going to show the artist that you are, but it's also going to make you comfortable presenting. So that's probably my best advice.
Perfect.
Thank you very much.
And
You're
we
welcome.
receive another question from Daphne. So yes, so you have higher chance of acceptation. Sorry,
Like,
you have a higher chance of acceptation if you submit your application earlier, because we don't have a deadline for our application, so we will be closed when we were full. So if your portfolio is ready, yes, you can start now to do your application. Maybe you want
Okay.
to add something,
no, it's perfect.
Okay.
So yes, we recommend, like for international students, we really recommend to do the application faster, because we don't have a lot of vacancies for international. We have 4 classes of 30 people in preparatory year, for example, and there is only 1 class for international people. So we only have 30 vacancies in Lyon. So 30 vacancies in every campus. So if you want to go to Montpellier or Bordeaux, they will only have 30 vacancies for the prepa and 30 vacancies for the second year. So we really recommend you to apply before February. Okay. So thank you very much for being here in this meeting. And if you have any other question, you have here our email address. If you want to do another meeting, if you want to speak with Esma students from another campus in another city, whatever you want, you are invited to send us an email. Okay?
So thank you, everyone, and thank you, Nicolas, for all your advice from one of our Esma international students.
Anytime, with pleasure.
Have a nice day.
Thank you very much.
Have a
Have a
nice
nice
day.
day. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.